Here with WWE superstar Dave Batista, who, guess what? You ready for this? This is exciting news. Will be making his MMA debut in Providence, Rhode Island. I am so stoked to see you fight MMA. Have you been training? I see you got the Gracie Fighter shirt on. You've been training MMA?
I've actually been training for years. I was training for years before I even left WWE, and I was thinking that I was going to leave wrestling and walk straight into a fight, and it just it wasn't a very easy transition. So it's finally going to happen on October 6th, yeah.
Looking forward to that fight. Tell us what some of the big adjustments have to be made from pro wrestling. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities, but what are some of the adjustments you have to make going over to MMA?
I think the cardio demands it's a lot more demanding as far as cardiovascular activity goes, but I think the biggest transition for me was to go from being so muscle bound to being even more agile, because throughout most of my wrestling career I was about 285, 290, and I just couldn't do it cardio wise, and I just wasn't agile enough to fight, so I kept dropping weight, and I did it throughout years with certain help from my diet that I picked up from when I hooked up with Cesar Gracie. I started working with them, so they put me on a diet and helped me lose weight and helped me get more acclimated to MMA.
Yeah, I notice a lot of the big guys, the power lifters, the wrestlers lose weight when they come over to MMA. Mariusz Pudzianowski came over and he did a good job, but he had to drop about 100 pounds. He's still a huge boy.
Still like really muscle bound, Yeah, but it's been hard for me to completely get away from that. It's even at one point, I couldn't bring my elbows in to keep my hands. They were so far out here that I was just getting nailed in the face constantly. So it's just one of those things, man. I just had to change my training and change my body type, drop weight, man, and really focus on cardio.
Yeah, and now what's the status with WWE? How is Vince taking you going over to MMA?
Well, we had a long talk before I left the company. And I left for a few different reasons, but he was very supportive, and I'm still, I keep in touch with him regularly, and I would still love to go back and do some more professional wrestling. At the end of the day, I'm a professional wrestler. It's what I really love to do. Just right now, it's not time for that. I wanted to focus on other things. In particular, this is a dream for me. Competing as a professional fighter is absolutely a dream for me.
That is huge.
It's going to come true.
That is huge. That's, obviously all the MMA guys love it. They feel like you're really respecting them coming over. It's a big honor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've made a lot of good relationships with really established fighters, because they know that first and foremost I'm a fan. And this is why I fell in love with this, and this is why I wanted to do it. This is why I wanted to compete professionally. And anytime I walk into a gym and they're suspicious of me, they see me work for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and put in time, and they see the effort I'm putting in. That's all out the window, man. I get tons of love, tons of respect from very established, accomplished fighters.
Now, it's one thing to be making your debut in MMA. It's another thing to be thrown to the lions. I couldn't believe when I heard who your first fight is. You're a big star, so I can see why you're doing it. But I'll tell you, man, it's going to be a tough debut for you. He's stepping into the cage, his first fight with Sugar Rashad Evans. It's a tough fight, my friend.
You're killing me. So the guy's name, and I always make this very clear, and this is why it's very uncomfortable when people say, "Who are you fighting?" I say, Rashid Evans, not Rashad Evans. Rashid Evans, just very similar name, but he's a big heavyweight. He's an accomplished fighter. I think he's 6-0. I don't know if he's had a professional fight yet, but I think it was like 6-0, 7-0 or something as an amateur. But he's a big kid. He's very game, big right hand, and so hopefully it'll be a real good fight.
It's amazing what a difference a vowel makes. Rashid versus Rashad. Big difference in a vowel there.
Huge difference. Huge difference.
Well, we're looking forward to it, Dave. We've enjoyed the years of watching you entertain us on WWE, and this fight is going to be hugely entertaining. It's a tough kid, like you said. He's a big kid. He's undefeated. Going to be
aggressive kid. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's why I didn't want a cupcake. Don't give me a cupcake. It's just I'd rather go in there with a guy who's going to be game, and I'd rather go to war. This is what I'm training for. This is what I wanted. This is my dream, to go through the whole experience, get the training camp, go through all this, and have a war. I don't want to go in and bully some guy around the cage who's 100 pounds lighter than me and just kick him and he falls down. And, that's not what I want. That's not my dream. Yeah. I want to fight. I want to fight.
I know there was some talk initially about you squaring off against Bobby Lashley, another pro wrestler. Right. Any talk about after this fight up in Providence on October 6th about possibly putting something together with Lashley?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's I think that's something that's been coming for a long time. Bobby, unfortunately, it was like that was originally my game plan when coming out of the WWE. Thought that was going to happen. Bobby had, a couple of bad experiences, and I didn't have a smooth experience with Strikeforce, so it kind of all just fell apart. But still, I think that's the fight. I think people want to see that. If they want to see it, we're going to give it to them.
It's going to be an exciting fight. Can't wait. Hopefully you get past your guy. I think you have a pretty good shot at getting past your guy in Providence, and we'll put that together, Bobby Lashley. So thanks again, and thanks for coming over to our sport.
No, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.